Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. We have some news, so as always, let's get straight to it. The very first thing that I have for you guys is a brand new model kit from VFB Art. If you can recall, I have reviewed quite a few of their models, incredibly impressive models, and probably some of the best that I have in my collection. If you haven't taken a moment to actually check out those reviews, make sure you check those out because they really are fantastic models. But we have this brand new model coming from them, and yet again, just like with the others, it is absolutely gorgeous. Again, really highly detailed, really beautiful, and it actually comes in two different scales. You can purchase this in 1/35th scale, and you can purchase it in 1/20th scale. So you can get a fairly large or a fairly reasonably sized version, whichever you would choose. If you are interested in picking this kit up from Fabrizio Bragnola, you can contact him through the link that I will include in the description to his Facebook account, or of course you can also check him out on Instagram, or of course you can also contact me and I will contact him for you if you do not have social media. And then as far as Prime 1 goes, I wanted to show you guys all the really cool images that have just recently surfaced of their Therizinosaurus. Now this is obviously a Jurassic World Dominion style Therizinosaurus, and I would say probably the best one that I've seen so far. Prime 1 usually does a pretty good job on their models, not so much on their smaller 1/38 scale range models. Those ones usually end up being kind of a letdown, but their larger models usually look epic, and that is absolutely the case with this one. And this is part of a larger set, as it will feature the Giganotosaurus and Tyrannosaurus all together. Of course, the final scene of Dominion, something that I'm sure many people would be interested in picking up. I too myself would love to grab this, but unfortunately the price range is pretty high, as a lot of these larger Prime 1 models usually are, and the price is of course continuing to climb since things have just been going up non-stop over the last year or two. But again, they did a very, very good job on the sculpt, great job on the paint. Honestly, the realism is through the roof on this Therizinosaurus as well. Probably, I would say, one of the best and most realistic models that I think I've seen from Prime 1 so far. Maybe not, of course, accurate because it's based on the Jurassic World Dominion version, but as far as looking like a living, breathing version of this Therizinosaurus, I really think Prime 1 knocked this out of the park. And then as far as Rebor goes, we have a look at their upcoming Direwolf. First of all, you can see we have this shot with the body and the fact that we will have replacement heads. And some of the heads are kind of based on a scientifically accurate version. And then we also have kind of fantasy style heads that would be included with this release. And I think that's pretty cool. Definitely a neat idea on the part of Rebor, who usually is on a pretty good roll when it comes to innovating. But then we also have this image here, which kind of gives us an idea of the size of the direwolf, showing off the size next to the Smilodon and the gorilla that they've released. So it should have a pretty decent size to it. The Smilodons are absolutely massive, and you can see that this is, of course, smaller, but not too far behind. Definitely a release that I'm looking forward to. And then I also want to let you guys know that the Dino Dream Velociraptors are officially up for pre-order on Lana Time Shop, and these are probably the best Jurassic Park Velociraptors I've ever seen. And of course, they follow right in line with the older Dino Dream Velociraptors from Jurassic Park, which those as well were some of the best, but these new ones are just incredible, and the price point of these actually makes sense to me, and even if it were the way I initially thought it made sense. So the price, I believe, is $150 plus shipping costs, and that, for an officially licensed Jurassic Park style Velociraptor, I thought was pretty reasonable. Usually when you get the license, you have to increase the price of your model so that you can pay your fair share to Universal and everything, but this actually is the price point for two. So this is actually for both of the Velociraptors. And once I had heard that, I was actually really quite impressed. I did not expect that to be the price point for both of the Velociraptors here. So you can buy the entire set of 1/15th scale Dino Dream Jurassic Park 30th Anniversary Velociraptors from Lana Time Shop for $150 plus shipping, and you can go ahead and get that pre-order in right now. I believe they are slated to potentially begin shipping in June, or at least that's what I heard, but you never really know. Sometimes this stuff releases a little bit earlier, but definitely an amazing set of Raptors for a pretty good price. Definitely something that, in my opinion, is worth picking up. So if you are interested, make sure you check the link out that I will include in the description straight to Lana Time Shop, where you can order yours right now. And then as far as Nanmu goes, we have a brand new version of their upcoming Tyrannosaurus Rex. Now this is something that a lot of people in their comments section on both Facebook and Instagram were kind of asking for, was to have that kind of maquette style pose be released in a larger version. So they've decided to do that, but it comes unpainted, actually unpainted and assembled. It's basically a model kit. And you can purchase this, I believe, up until April 18th, I think is the cutoff date so far from what I've heard, to pre-order this and get yourself one of these incredible Tyrannosaurs. And these, I think, would be releasing prior to the other upcoming Tyrannosaurs. And it looks super cool in this pose. Definitely something that I absolutely intend on grabbing. So if you are interested, you can head on over to Lana Time Shop to pre-order this one as well right now. And again, make sure you hit that April 18th pre-order deadline date so you can grab yourself one of these amazing Jurassic Park Tyrannosaurs. And speaking of model kits, I am absolutely loving the fact that we are having kind of a resurgence in model kits lately. We've got this one coming from Kaiyodo. Now this actually features obviously we have an adult Tyrannosaurus, we also have some researchers and some baby or juvenile Tyrannosaurs, and it's one really cool diorama that you could create with this. And again, this actually is for sale currently on Big Bad Toy Store, and definitely a really, really cool idea on the part of Kaiyodo. Again, I'm loving the fact in general that Big Bad Toy Store has been stocking so much Kaiyodo stuff, but this in general is something that I absolutely pre-ordered the second I saw it. Definitely a really cool model kit that hopefully at some point when it does release, I'll have the pleasure of reviewing for you guys, but definitely something again worth picking up. So if you are interested, make sure you check the link that I will include in the description to this as well on Big Bad Toy Store and get your pre-order in before it sells out. And then when it comes to Star Ace, they're actually going to be releasing some more in their Wonders of the Wild series. This time we've got some really cool skulls. So first of all, we've got a Spinosaurus skull, and I think it looks absolutely awesome. I really am loving everything in this Wonders of the Wild series. I think that's some of the best models that Star Ace has ever produced. I think I actually like them maybe even more than the Ray Harryhausen line. But definitely a really nice skull, and I like the fact that you can kind of have it in like a desktop sort of display, or you can have it kind of hanging off of the side of the base. Either way, it is absolutely awesome. And we also have a Tyrannosaurus Rex skull coming from the Star Ace line, the Wonders of the Wild series as well, and the Rex skull also looks really cool. And they have released actual statue versions of both the Spinosaurus and T-Rex, so it's pretty cool to now have the skulls as well. Would be a really neat companion piece for each of those if you display them next to each other. On top of that, we also have another really cool model, and this is actually something else that I'm a pretty big fan of. We have a Trilobite, and it comes in like a frame with a really cool background. I think that is absolutely genius, honestly, and this is something that I absolutely am intending on picking up. This is one model from the Wonders of the Wild series that is like a definitive must-have on my list, and definitely something that I'm going to be grabbing once it does officially go up for pre-order. I will definitely get a hold of this one, and there's also this fossil replica that comes with it, so you can get, I guess, like the deluxe version, kind of like they usually have for the Wonders of the Wild series where you have, different versions. And this model as well looks super, super cool. Definitely, again, a must-have if you ask me. And then something that I am beyond excited about, because if you know me, you know I love vintage dinosaurs, and specifically, I do like vintage dinosaurs from movies. We've got ourselves a brand new Artic Figures release coming, and this time we're going to have the Carnosaur T-Rex, and how absolutely awesome is that? Not only to just in general have a model of the Carnosaur T-Rex, but to have one that is super articulated. That is probably one of the most exciting things that I've ever seen in my entire life. The only problem is it's going to be very limited. There's actually only going to be 10 made, period, and that is going to include a painted model with the box art, and on top of that there are some really cool add-ons that will be added to this, so you get some really cool extras. You'll have a cast of the real-life T-Rex hand claw used in the movie on the T-Rex itself, and then there will also be a trading card, of course, that includes the autograph by the original artist that sculpted the T-Rex animatronic puppet in the film Carnosaur. The figure will be 9 inches tall and about 14 inches long, and again fully articulated and painted. So this is an absolutely incredible release from Artic Figures. I'm loving the fact that they are producing so much variety when it comes to their models. Like, they don't just stick with Jurassic Park or anything like that. They're all over the place when it comes to vintage dinosaurs, different old school movie monster dinosaurs. You've got the Terror Bird, you have Skull Island stuff, you've got Jurassic Park. Again, the sheer amount of stuff released by Artic Figures has been incredible, and this is definitely one of the most exciting releases, in my opinion, as far as my preference goes, so far from the incredible Artic Figures. And then when it comes to the beasts of the Mesozoic, we have a look at the Stegosaurus here in progress. Just another shot here giving us a look at what it's going to look like. It absolutely looks incredible so far. Of course, it's not quite finished yet, but it definitely looks amazing already, and we can kind of get an idea as far as the articulation and everything that the figure will possess. It's going to be really cool to have so many new species like this entering the Beasts of the Mesozoic line, and this really cool little update that David gave us just has me beyond hyped for the release of not only this, but all of the other amazing species he has planned. And then when it comes to Declay Studios, we have a look at their Triceratops, which is one of their newest releases, and basically not only a look at what the sculpt looks like, but also a look at the paint job, and it looks really cool. Again, definitely another beautiful model coming from them. I am hoping at some point in time to get a hold of some of their models, preferably their T-Rex. I would love to get my hands on, but this Triceratops honestly looks like a perfect partner piece to that T-Rex, and I think they've done a phenomenal job, of course, on the sculpt, but also the paint job is extremely nice and natural, really realistic application and coloration. So another fantastic model from Declay Studio. If you are interested in grabbing one of these gorgeous Triceratops for yourself, as always with everything, I will include a link in the description to where you can contact Declay Studio on Instagram, or you can contact me and then I will contact them for you. And then when it comes to some Jurassic news, first of all, a huge thank you goes out to Collect Jurassic for this information, but we have a look at some upcoming Hallmark ornaments that will be coming around the holiday season. First of all, we'll have ourselves a Jurassic Park Jeep, which looks pretty cool, something that I will definitely be getting a hold of. I always buy the Hallmark ornaments when they come out because they're just some of the coolest stuff when it comes to the holiday season. But on top of that, we will also have a Dilophosaurus. Now this one is definitely a must-have for so many, myself included, and it looks really cool. Again, obviously we're not looking at the actual ornament so far, we're just looking at like concept art basically for it. But it looks really neat, and I definitely can't wait to see the full reveal at some point soon. On top of that, we have a brand new Captivz Mega Egg for the Jurassic Park 30th anniversary, and this time it includes kind of like a cut-out version of the Visitor Center. Now that is absolutely epic. That is definitely something that I am without question going to be acquiring one way or another. I really want this one in my collection. I love the idea of kind of creating a visitor center, and then on top of that you also have some extras with the cards and some dinosaurs and everything else included in this. Definitely a really cool egg to be coming with, I think, Wave 2, but I'm not entirely sure. Either way, once I have word of it actually being on store shelves, I will definitely let you guys know. And yet again, thanks to Collect Jurassic, we have a look at the upcoming Mattel Fierce Changers T-Rex and Jeep, and this one's interesting. Not really great. Definitely not something that I'm all that interested in. I might buy it depending on the price and, how much I'm jonesing for a new dinosaur figure that day, but it's definitely not something that I'm all that excited about, not something that I'm all that interested in. And it basically, as a lot of people have said, is like a knockoff Transformer. It's pretty much what I'm getting out of this, and I couldn't disagree with that. But interesting on the part of Mattel to go the route of these very, very weird figures. And the final thing, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to Drake Wheatley, who was the one that pointed this out to me. But we have some new images of the upcoming Danger Pack figures from Mattel. First of all, we've got ourselves a look at the Dakosaurus. Now, this is one that I'm really quite excited about, and after actually taking a look at these images here, I think I'm a lot more excited than I even was in the first place, because it's looking really, really nice. The sculpt is, of course, gorgeous. It's a Mattel sculpt. It's always going to be really highly detailed and beautiful. But the paint job as well looks really cool on this one, and that's one thing Mattel has been super good at when it comes to their marine life, is giving them really exciting paint jobs. And yet again, that's exactly the same case with this Dakosaurus. On top of that, we also have a Velociraptor. Now, of course, that's not really anything super exciting, and in general, it's not that great looking of a Velociraptor, but it's got a pretty cool paint scheme, something I am definitely warming up to now, seeing these new images of it, and that's pretty impressive with the sheer amount of Velociraptors we've had from Mattel that they can still come up with paint schemes that are kind of interesting. Definitely a very impressive fact when it comes to Mattel. But on top of that, we also have the Borealis pelta, and this is one that as well I am super excited about. Looking at all of these new images of it, it is extremely highly detailed and probably one of Mattel's best looking sculpts that I think I've seen. Like, really impressive looking detail, but just in general, a gorgeous looking figure. And of course, given some really nice articulation, which is something that I think always makes a Mattel figure even more appealing. And pretty decent paint apps on this one. Nothing too flashy, but it looks good. It has paint from head to tail, which I really quite like. And then the final one that we have here is the Ornithocheirus. Now, this is one that I think I judged a little too quickly. When I had initially seen the images of it, I kind of dismissed it, thinking that it didn't look very good because of the weird coloration that they've given it. But now looking at these new images, I completely take that back. I actually really like the coloration of it, and it probably is going to be one of my favorite pterosaur figures that Mattel has released when I do get my hands on it, because I think that the sculpt is incredibly well done. When you actually get this nice, closer, high-quality look at it, you can see how gorgeous that sculpt really is. And the paint job as well is, again, a lot better than I gave it credit for the first time around. Having a better look at it here, I definitely am a pretty big fan of what I see here on this paint scheme. So some pretty cool stuff as always coming from Mattel. Now, if only some pre-order links would start to go up somewhere where we can actually get some of these new figures pre-ordered, because that is the only thing that's really killing me at this point, is finding places to actually pre-order these. But hopefully they'll start to show up at some point in the very near future, and we can all get our hands on these incredibly cool figures. So as of right now, guys, that's all the news I've got. When more comes out, I'll be sure to send it your way. But until then, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.